Going In Raw's Black Friday holiday sale is happening now. Huge price cuts across both Friendo merchandise sites at friendomerch.com and friendomarket.com. Order today.
Oh, Steve and Larson! Don't you dare be sour. Clap for yourselves and feel the power. Yes. And all you people out there, you're watching Going In Raw with Steve and Larson.
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here, youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found, and of course, taped live at the Twitch at twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. First and foremost, of course, we hope all the friendos out there had a lovely Thanksgiving.
Yes. How was yours, Steve?
Oh, well, I'll go first because I was about to ask you the exact same question. It was lovely. We sort of had, because we typically have 4 households involved with our normal Thanksgivings. We divvied those up into 3 separate households. So all night we were all just sending each other pictures of our various social distanced households, eating some socially distanced turkey and stuffing. It was delicious. It was a lovely, lovely time. I had a good time. You could see some of the pictures from mine at my Instagram at MFSteve here. If you're really that interested.
Yeah.
How was yours?
Oh, went to my wife's parents, and it wasn't the full family extravaganza that it has been in years past. So, there was a few people here yesterday, but today's been pretty quiet.
You know what, man?
In fact, I've been stuck in this room basically all day. We've been working.
That's right.
We shot Matt Chat. We got a really cool guest coming up Sunday on Matt Chat. Really excited about it.
I'm looking forward to that, man. Yeah.
And then editing that, watching Smackdown, doing a couple other odds and ends. Pretty much, and watching NXT this morning, pretty much since 10 o'clock this morning, I've been sitting in this chair at this desk.
Yep. Well,
I'm ready to go play some Skippo and have a couple beverages.
I like it. I think it's great. So we'll get through this recap here. WWE didn't. They helped make us. They helped make tonight's recap. I feel like it's going to be a breezy one.
Yeah.
Because there really is not a lot to chew on. That being said, before we get started, I did want to mention we have a sale right now. It's our own Black Friday sale. It'll probably go well into next week or so whenever I figure out to change the prices back to normal.
Do it all the way through Christmas.
Okay, we'll do that. I mean, yeah, the earlier you get your order in, the quicker, the more likely it is to come before Christmas. That being said, yeah, we'll just keep these going the way they are. Man, huge discounts on all of our merchandise. I'm talking shirt sticker packs for like $15 over at friendomarket.com.
You know what that is?
Deal. It's deal. That's right,
Deals.
Barry. It's a deal. And then over there at friendomerch.com, it's our other store.
Guaranteed Pete on.
Deals. Yeah, huge slashes on prices there. So that's exciting. Go check that out. That's what I'm going to do this weekend. I'm going to start on those orders that came in last night when I announced this, and we announced this. So there you go. Deals. Yeah, talk about a deal. Smackdown tonight. What's the deal with Smackdown tonight? It seemed like it was
a bit of a raw deal after the opening segment until Kevin Owens saved the deal.
Hey, let's go straight to the positive, man. Let's go straight to that, because I thought that was, holy crap. That was the Kevin Owens I've been dying to see, man.
I know. So there was an Intercontinental, well, it actually wasn't an Intercontinental title match. This match between Intercontinental Champion Sami Zayn, Daniel Bryan. There was a kind of a long finish at the end, part of which included Jey Uso jumping Daniel Bryan at gorilla position. And Kevin Owens comes and interjects himself because, he made a pitch to Daniel Bryan weeks back to be tag team partners. So he comes in to make the save, pulls Jey off him. And after Jey leaves, says, hey, I'm going to go follow him. That leads him to Roman Reigns. He basically tells Roman Reigns, you treat your family like trash. And after Kevin Owens leaves, Roman tells Jey, you got to deal with that. Main event made for the night, Kevin Owens versus Jey Uso. Jey Uso seemed more concerned about beating some respect into Kevin Owens rather than winning the match. Took a chair to him. Kevin Owens turned the tables, hits him with a stunner, beats him with the chair. And there's this great bit. Oh, it's so good. So good. He's around the announce table. And of course we see the shot of Roman watching the match backstage, kind of at the awkward angle like they always do. And so he's talking to camera. He's talking to camera to Roman Reigns.
Yeah. And
it's the intensity of the fire that we've been wanting from specifically face Kevin Owens for a long time. So he's yelling at Roman, says, hey, Roman, are you watching? Where are you? This is all happening to your family because of you. And he says, no one fears you. Or sorry, he says, I fear no one, and that includes you.
God dang. It was like, so here's the great thing about Roman Reigns is that they have done this so well that the main goal of any heel that goes out there is you want the crowd to want to see you get your ass kicked. You as a fan of the show, I know a heel is doing a good job. I know a performer is doing a great job. If I'm like, man, even though I understand the quality of the performance is so great, I still viscerally want to see this guy get beat up. And Roman's in that spot right now because the way poor Jey comes out there and he's hyping up Roman at the beginning, and Roman comes
just
down,
addresses him,
and just emotionally wrecks him. And the cry face on Jey did such a great job with the performance. You know, basically crying. I mean, he had everything but the tears coming down, and those might have been there. I just didn't see it.
And from that point on, he was completely unhinged.
And it's like, man, you just want him to unload on. Oh, you want that to happen, but you know it's not going to happen. He is a broken man. He takes it down on Otis. And you just, oh my God. And so Kevin Owens, they had him deliver, or he delivered, whichever way it is, creatively speaking, whomever is designing this stuff. The dialogue that he threw at Roman while he was taunting him, while he was destroying Jey, because he murdered Jey, was so satisfying to watch Roman soak it all in.
The best part for me is, so Kevin Owens climbs to the top of the table. He's like, come on, Roman, come find me. And then he goes and hits Jey with a second stunner. He grabs a folding chair, sits at the head of the announce table.
Oh, God.
What a great touch.
He owns it. He like sits down and he throws his hands down on the table. Good. And then says, does this and says,
where are you, Roman? I'm waiting for you.
Oh, man. I got chills thinking about it because it was so damn good.
It wasn't just him. You know, it was him launching a direct assault on everything Roman thinks he's about.
Yeah,
and was so good.
Finally, somebody is calling him. Roman had the temerity earlier to say, my team SmackDown. You weren't even on the team.
I know.
Your team. And Kevin Owens, oh, man. Oh,
so
God.
Good.
I mean, this is,
so good.
You know, I have said, and I know you've been with me on this one, that if there's anybody who in the history of the WWE could have taken the mantle that Stone Cold represented, the anti-authority guy, the guy that the everyman can relate to because everybody hates their boss, that guy could be Kevin Owens if they really nailed his creative, which is difficult to do. And with Kevin Owens, his creative has been up and down. He always, whatever he's given, he always knocks it out of the park. But you can only do so much if you're not given a lot to work with.
Exactly.
And this is the type of role that he can absolutely just excel in. This bit here, without, I mean, we talked about this a little bit earlier. Here's a preview for you with our guest from Matt Chat this Sunday, Sean Ross Sapp from Fightful. We talked about crap. I totally lost my train of thought there. That's okay. We talk about something cool. There's a teaser for you.
We talk a lot about fun, a lot of cool stuff, man.
Yeah, we do. But anyway, I thought this was absolutely fantastic. I thought this.
Yeah, it really did kind of save at the end to show that wasn't boring per se. It wasn't bad. Well, there was one segment that made absolutely no sense. None. 0 sense. Like less than 0 sense.
Oh yeah. We'll get to that as well.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
But, you know, the rest, like the opening segment. So Jey Uso comes out. We'll just get right into it, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
Comes out to the ring, drop a promo, and he's like, "Hey, we did that at Survivor Series. Everybody's talking about the Undertaker's final farewell, but they should be talking about how Roman Reigns represented." He said at Survivor Series, Drew didn't beat his cousin. He starts to introduce Roman, and before he gets through his introduction, Reigns' music interrupts him. So Roman comes down the ring. Heyman takes the mic from Jey, gives it to Roman, and Roman just goes, "Show it." Throws to a video package for the Survivor Series. And Roman reminds Jey that he told him, I told you to leave after your match at Survivor Series. Did I tell you to come help? Nope. So he asked Jey where he thought Team SmackDown lost. He said they weren't listening. They weren't listening because they don't respect you. If they don't respect you, they don't respect us. And if that's the case, well, man, I stopped writing notes there.
Oh, here, I got it. Let me go back up to it. He says they don't respect you. If they don't respect you, they don't respect us. If they don't respect us, then who are we? If I'm not the head of the table, then you must think I'm some bitch in the locker room begging for Thanksgiving leftovers. Is that how they look at you? How does your son, our whole family, look at you? Is that who I am to you? Is that how you feel about me? That I'm some bitch in the locker room begging for number one? Larson, can we power rank? Who is Roman referring to somebody specific here? Some sort of bitch in the locker room begging for Thanksgiving leftovers? Did he witness somebody begging for? Because it's like you got Thanksgiving, which is typically at home. Then you've got people in the locker room. Why would people in the locker room be begging for Thanksgiving leftovers?
I don't think he means literal stuffing and turkey. I think he means they're looking for a handout.
The juice.
Looking for a handout.
Yeah. So he says is that how you make me feel? Is that how you feel about me? He said that's how you make me feel through your failures, and I don't like how you make me feel.
Ugh.
I don't like how you make me feel. Man, I've known you for like 25 years. I don't think I've ever said to you, I don't like how you make me feel.
We've also never made me cry before.
That's horrible. I don't think I have.
Yeah, I did think about that for a second. No, you haven't.
If I have, I apologize.
You've never made me cry. So yeah, Jay's in there basically crying at that point.
Oh God.
Basically. And he is unhinged for the rest of the night. So Otis comes out for his match against Baron Corbin. So it's supposed to be. And as he's at the top of the ramp, kind of posing a little bit, Jay's walking past him, kind of staring him down a little bit. So Otis starts to make his way down the ring, and Jey comes running at him with the chair. It obliterates him. Obliterates him.
And he's just like screaming and drooling, and he is just taken out. And I mean, honestly, when I saw this, I don't have a direct reference. However, it really is cinematic level storytelling. Watching the emotional abuse that Jey is going through and what he's becoming, and how this eventually might turn into everybody on SmackDown fearing Roman because Jey is making it so. Or it could just completely implode and be an even bigger mess just for the family, which is probably where it's going to happen.
Yeah, probably.
But there's a lot of really cool places they can take this. So, yeah, he absolutely annihilates Otis, and he's screaming and screaming and screaming. So yeah, that happens, and then
we get Dolph and Bob Roode taking on the Street Profits. Before the match, though, Dolph and Bob Roode have a bit of a promo. They poke some fun at Otis, say they're a couple aces, call themselves the Dirty Dogs. Their focus is on Street Profits. Street Profits come out, and they're during the course of the promo, Roode and Dolph kind of did they stole a bit of a Profits catchphrase. And they said, that's not cool for doing that. And then Dawkins made some reference to Bob Roode only be able to grow hair on his upper lip, despite the fact that he has a full beard.
Okay. What's your take on that particular aspect of their promo? Let me ask you this. Were they backstage? They obviously knew they were going to have a promo with these guys. Did they not remember that he has a full beard and came out, and as they're delivering it, they're staring at him like, oh, he has a whole beard now? That's kind of what I think might have happened.
I don't know, because commentary made, Michael Cole made some point about how, well, you know, Bob Roode used to just have a mustache.
Yeah, he did. And I wonder if the Street Profits were just like, hey, man, he's just got that mustache. Let's just make fun of that he can't grow any hair on the rest of his head. Because Corey started to stumble a little bit. He was like, wait, what are these guys talking about? He's got an entire, he used to have. And then Cole said, yeah, he used to have just a mustache. I mean, it's unintentionally, it's hilarious regardless. But yeah, that was a bit of a head scratcher right there.
A little bit. A little bit. Anyways, they have a match. And once again, they did the thing where a challenger beats the champions in a non-title match to justify a title match that they will eventually lose.
Yeah.
So that's what happened here. It was a fun enough match, though. At one point, Ford hits the frog splash. Dolph breaks up the pin. In the end, after that, Dawkins hits. Dolph breaks up the pin, hits Dawkins for the super kick, goes for one on Montez. Montez catches it, hits Enziguri, but that allows Bob Roode to roll up Montez to get the win.
After that, we had Daniel Bryan, Sami Zayn sort of recap for
progressive match flow.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. After that, Kayla interviewed Daniel Bryan, basically said, you know, you got a lot of history, Sami. What's your strategy going into tonight? And he gave another one of his great Daniel Bryan, where it's obviously he's really happy to be there, promos, where he talks about Sami Zayn being delusional. He sees himself as a strategist, maybe even the best Intercontinental Champion ever, but he's not. But he does know how to exploit every loophole there is to ensure that he wins. He says he's also very paranoid, though. He thinks everyone is out to get him. I'm not out to get him, just his title. This next part made me laugh quite a bit. Rey Mysterio, Dom, Murphy awkwardly holding his arm around Analia. Were there doing an interview, talked about getting past Seth Rollins, and then Baron Corbin comes up. I only wrote down like some bare notes here because I was chuckling so much. Can you recap what Baron Corbin said?
So yeah, Ray is like going down the line saying, yeah, I'm thankful for Dom's career has taken off. He's thankful that Aaliyah has grown to become a mature, independent woman or something like that. And he's thankful that Buddy finally realized what a piece of garbage Seth is. So Corbin wanders in and says, you think after one win, you're one happy family? You're a joke. He said it's too bad that Ray didn't pass any of his talent on to his son. Said Dom essentially is just riding his dad's coattails.
You know what I loved about that line, though, is that he totally pays respect to Rey Mysterio because he drops the adjective. He says, any of your immense in-ring ability to your son. Like really propping up Ray just to run down his son. It was absolutely great.
He puts over dad to bury the kid.
Exactly, yeah.
So after that, we had the same Thank You Undertaker video package that ran on Raw. And then we get Sami Zayn versus Daniel Bryan. A really, really good match.
Yeah,
Which the finish, hopefully, will lead to more between the two of them.
Oh, I really hope so. That missile or the shotgun drop kick that Daniel Bryan came at with Sami was up on the top turnbuckle.
Oh, that was great.
He goes flying to the floor.
Something out of 2K19, I know, huh?
It was. That's exactly what it was. It felt like
and
that.
While it wasn't one of his brain busters on the top turnbuckle that Sami used to do as El Generico, he did hit Daniel Bryan with the brain buster on the apron.
Yeah. No, this was an absolutely killer match. And I mean, look, they used this match to set up, the big angle towards the end, which is totally fine. And like you said, I hope this leads to more between these two because obviously we can watch them wrestle all day long. But basically, Sami runs away. He runs backstage. Daniel Bryan goes to get him. The ref starts the count. We don't see what happens backstage until a second later. But as the count's down to like 7 or 8 or so, Sami Zayn comes running back from backstage and barely makes the count to get the count-out victory over Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, it was great seeing Sami sprint down the ramp.
He's such a wonderful mess. I love
and
Sami
get back
Zayn
into the ring with a huge smile on his face.
Yeah, it's great. So then we get to see what was going on backstage, and Jey Uso is on top of Daniel Bryan, attacking him, Kevin Owens comes in, breaks it up, wearing a great Bam Bam Bigelow shirt. He breaks it up. Jey says something like, "I got beef with you too, Kevin Owens," or something like that, and he stalks off. And then Kevin Owens says, "Well, wherever he's going, I'm following." So after the commercial, Kevin Owens finally catches up to Roman Reigns' suite, and they're all outside, and he comes up, and he basically says, I know he said a little bit more than this, but the beats were, this is how you treat your family. You treat your family like trash. Keep your drama out of SmackDown. Were there any? Because this was a really great little bit here, and I didn't do justice.
Yeah. Jay's talking to Roman, says, "Yeah, I got it." As far as understanding what Roman was telling him, and trying to make sure that people respect him because they fear him. That's when Kevin Owens walks up. And he's like, "I'm really tired of your family issues running or ruining SmackDown." He tells Roman, "Yeah, someone who talks so much about how important family is, you sure treat your family like trash." He leaves. Roman tells Jey that Kevin Owens doesn't look at him with fear. Fix that.
Yeah.
It was great. After that, we got Natalya versus Bianca Belair. Bayley comes out to join the commentary team. All of this is just to set up a feud between Bayley and Bianca Belair, and I can't wait till that really gets started.
Or a match between Bayley and Michael Cole. I'd like them both, to be honest with you.
Yes. So the finish of this saw Bianca, she blocks a discus clothesline, hits a glam slam, sends Natalya to the floor. Bayley then, so Bianca follows. Bayley gets in Bianca's face. Natalya tries to hit Bianca from behind. Bianca ducks that. They switch positions. Bianca goes for a shot on Natalya. Natalya evades. So Bianca accidentally decks Bayley. And so Natalya gets Bianca back in the ring, sets up for a sharpshooter. And while this is happening, Bayley's getting on the apron to try to get into the ring. Bianca kicks Natalya off right into Bayley, sends Bayley falling to the floor. Bianca rolls at Natalya to get the win.
Yeah. And like you said, man, Bayley versus Bianca, this is what we've been asking for a little while now. And Bianca, the level of performance she can give right now, I'm excited to see what she can bring after a couple months with Bayley, because Bayley brings the best out of everybody.
Yeah.
After that, this was perplexing to say the least.
I can't make heads or tails of this unless the Mysterio family is turning heel. So the premise is Buddy versus Baron Corbin. So the premise of this is anytime Buddy was at the disadvantage, was getting worked over by Baron, either Ray or Dom would hop on the apron to distract Baron Corbin. Now, for the last, I don't know, the entirety of Baron's WWE career, he has been a heel. Rey Mysterio and family, my understanding is, are supposed to be faces. However, the idea that they would hop on the apron to assist Buddy is not behavior that I feel like is in line with how faces typically behave in WWE television. And in fact, it makes Buddy look terrible.
This is my bigger issue with it, is sort of the second part of that. No, so here's the thing. So Baron Corbin comes up and he's very disrespectful. I'm actually okay with a good guy taunting a bad guy in this manner.
See, taunting is one thing. Distracting Baron just so the person whose face gets the upper hand, that's not something faces do, though.
Yeah, my biggest issue with this, you sort of touched on it, is that why did Buddy Murphy need so much help? He was hapless this entire match. Like, I understand the idea. The writing process here is, okay, the Mysterios are going to fuck with Baron Corbin a little bit, and he's going to lose this match because of it. However, in order to get there, we have to make Buddy Murphy look like he's only been wrestling for 2 days.
Well, here's the thing. If it was it's a situation where they're going to have the Mysterio family tease Baron, that's one thing. This is interfering with the match. That's a different thing. And that does, it serves two purposes. Sadly, it makes them look like a bunch of jerks.
Yeah.
And also makes Buddy look horribly weak.
Yeah, well, let's
just a week or two after beating Seth Rollins.
Murphy looked terrible in this match. But let's not forget, this is the same good guy family that completely annihilated Buddy Murphy with kendo sticks as his comeuppance like a couple months ago. Like, went over and above.
Yeah.
Way far beyond any line of being a real babyface. The Mysterios are low-key heels. They totally are. They're low-key heels. Look at how Rey Mysterio treats his family. Bossing his daughter around all the time, telling her what to do, what not to do. Dom, same way, bossing his sister around. They're kind of low-key heels, dude.
I guess so.
Anyways.
But this it served to benefit nobody. No one looked good in this whole situation.
The bigger issue was like Murphy. To me, the bigger issue is Murphy looked like he didn't know how to wrestle in this match. And we're talking about Baron. He just had a clean win over Seth Rollins.
I know. That just happened. Last week. I know.
That just happened.
And so at the end, Buddy hits a V trigger on Baron, and it's right near the rope. So Baron gets his foot on the bottom rope. And Dom's there and pushes his foot off the rope so the ref doesn't see it. Buddy gets the win.
Yeah.
And Baron calls to the mic and rightly says, "This is outrageous. This wasn't a one-on-one fight. It was 4-on-1. Calls them all spineless cowards and says he wants a rematch against Buddy next week, but this time he'll be prepared."
Mm-hmm.
So who's going to be in Baron's crew?
Forget me not.
Yeah, probably.
I stole that idea from Sean Ross Sapp, who on Twitter mentioned that. You know, he hopes it's the two forgotten sons that are still unforgotten, not Jackson Riker. So after that, so the first part of this, I was like, oh, what the hell is this? So Apollo and Big E are backstage near the fake ring, and they have a garbage can set up, and they're playing like basically basketball.
I used to do this all the time in middle school,
with garbage, exactly.
Yeah. You get a ball of paper and you shoot it to the basket,
Right, exactly. But these are two guys that really should have matches on the card. So they're doing that. They're goofing around. Sami Zayn comes up, and he's like all happy. He's like, most people beat people in 3 seconds with a three-second pin. I just beat Daniel Bryan in a full 10 seconds. And I really thought this was going to head into the direction of Big E remembering the 5-count thing, which he did. He referenced it. He referenced it. It was just in a different way than I thought it was going to be. So anyways, Sami runs his mouth. I forget what the dig was he had at Apollo, but Apollo.
He says he just beat Daniel Bryan in 10 seconds. Hey, and he goes, "Hey, Cruz, remember I did that to you a couple weeks back," because he like taped Apollo Cruz to the structure of the ring.
So Apollo gets mad, and he starts to come at him, and Big E sort of says, "Oh, just calm down, just calm down." Apollo leaves and calms down a little bit, and so Big E talks to Sami Zayn. He's like, man, your house has no foundation. He says, basically, you are living in a house of cards. One flick or one gust of wind, and it'll come falling down. It was really great. It really straddled the line between comedy and intensity really, really well. This is the kind of thing that I like to see. So Sami Zayn comes back, and he says, the last time you held the Intercontinental Championship was eons ago in a very forgettable reign. Why don't you stop tearing me down because you have problems with that? And Big E says, "You're right. I'm sorry. Here, let's shake hands." And he says, "You want to talk about 10 seconds? And he grips his hand. He does the Superman 2 thing where he grips his hand and he starts counting to 10. And Sammy's in pain. And when he gets to 5, he says, "Oh, 5's my favorite number. Remember the 5 count?" And then he keeps on going. So, I mean, is this going to be, long story short, you're looking at our new Intercontinental Champion?
Could be.
Great place to start with a program.
Yeah, it is. So after Big E leaves, Kayla asks Sami, "Hey, are we still doing the interview?" And he just goes, "No, leave me alone." That was pretty great. Sami is pretty good this episode. Yeah. After that, Billy Kay slides into the commentary booth between Cole and Graves, hands them each resume and headshot. She says she's very qualified in talking, and if you want me to take over commentary, I can do that.
As you can see, I'm very qualified in talking.
Oh, so good.
She's so good. After that, we had a weird, like, Carmella sit-down promo thing where she talks about calling the shots, and, like, they roll footage of her attacking Sasha Banks. And then they do this awkward thing where, like, she tries to snap for something to happen, and then she does it again. It doesn't work. And then, like, a hand comes into frame, and it's got the boss thing on it with the knuckles.
It had a glass champagne.
Would you like some champagne? And then she throws it on her. Sasha Banks attacks.
That's sort of bank statement. Pat Buck, Adam Pearce. they break it up, and then we have our main event, Kevin Owens versus Jey Uso. We went through the end, but it was a really fun match too.
Yeah, it was totally a slugfest. At one point, Jey Uso takes a. I didn't see how does Kevin Owens left arm? How did that get busted up?
Oh, he was working on. Jey was working it earlier.
Okay.
On.
Okay. All right. So Jey has control. He loads up to do something, but he ends up eating a super kick from Kevin Owens. Bunch of chops, some strikes. Kevin Owens tries for a pop-up powerbomb, but because of his arm, he can't. He eats a super kick instead. They go up to the top, and Jey headbutts Kevin Owens' injured arm to send him down. Goes for a splash, but he eats knees instead, and Kevin Owens hits this great packaged neck breaker.
It was rad. Pump handle neck breaker. I think it was great.
Pump handle, yeah. So Jey takes, you mentioned this, Jey took a chair to Kevin Owens, gets DQ'd, grabs another chair, comes back, instead eats a stunner. Owens goes to the outside, throws him over the table, gets a chair, just annihilates Jey with it, starts screaming at Roman, "Are you watching? Where are you? You want people to fear you. I fear no one, including you." Sits at the head of the commentary table.
Gosh, it was so good.
And says, "Where are you? Yeah, I'm waiting for you." Man, God dang it. That was such an electric finish. But we've got some questions, so let's go ahead and answer some of those. I am on the Patreon.
Cool. Michael Sodope just says champions shouldn't be getting pinned on TV. I'm just kind of tired of the trope where a challenger has a non-title match against the champions, they win that, and I don't have the math in front of me, but I feel like a vast majority of the time they end up losing the actual title match. It just kind of seems like a lazy way to motivate a title match. Yeah,
I don't disagree with that at all. I think if you do, like doing it once in a while, if the match itself is motivated, then I'm like, for example, when they did it with the Hurt Business and New Day, it's like, hey, honestly, their payment should have been the actual title match. It shouldn't have been a match to get to a title match.
I know.
But yeah, I agree with you. Alex Foster, if Gable's Alpha Academy became a stable, who else would be in it? Apollo Crews? He's not doing anything. I'm just thinking of guys who aren't doing anything right now.
Otis, Apollo Crews, Chad Gable. He's on Raw. So is he.
It'd be fun, man. I know he can't wrestle, but Jason Jordan. Yeah. Like, have him be like their businessman. Like, have him be their MVP. And Chad Gable can be their Bob Lashley.
That'd be good. The other two members I can think of, or two potential members I can think of, are both on Raw. Matt Riddle and Drew Gulak.
Yeah. Oh, Drew Gulak. Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Jorge D and Kayfabe. How awkward was Thanksgiving dinner between Roman and Jey Uso? Did Jey have to sit at the kids' table?
Oh, so awkward.
Yeah, man.
So awkward. Very awkward. Let's see here. James Fletcher. Are there any wrestlers who make you instantly turn off any wrestling show? He says, for me, it's anything with Katie Forbes on. Oh, Katie Forbes.
I mean, it's our job to watch wrestling, so we can't just turn off a show just because there's someone on that we may not enjoy.
All right, so are there any segments? Let's just try to take yourself out of what. Well,
when Baron Corbin was on Raw all over the place, he was commissioner or whatever.
It was really hard to watch.
It was really hard to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the segments that we've talked about in the past, I would have turned it off and been like, no, I can't do that anymore. At least for that week. Yeah. Like I always know, as a wrestling fan, you always know that, well, every once in a while they're going to have just an absolute stinker. Doesn't mean they're going to do the same thing the next week.
Fear and Loathing, how bad is it going to be for Jey when Jimmy joins them and goes through none of the abuse?
Yeah, I know, right? Probably. Kenny T, has Corbin taken over as the master of heel who makes good points? Yeah, he's done that a couple times now. But tonight was a huge example of that.
Yes. Legendarius BC, is Heyman glaring at Roman during the backstage shots a sign that he's realized the tribal chief may be worse than the beast? So when Roman's watching the match, the main event, Heyman's not watching the screen. He's watching Roman.
Yeah.
The whole time, pretty much.
Heyman always has his eyes on Roman. He's fascinated.
I think scared of him.
Yeah. B-Rock, as fathers, what are your thoughts regarding 19-year-old Aaliyah Mysterio dating the 32-year-old Buddy Murphy? I mean, she's an adult. She can legally do what she wants. So I'm fine with it. I have a 21-year-old stepdaughter. I mean, if she dated a 32-year-old, I'd be like, yeah, well, you know, I'm not gonna, you know, it wouldn't stop me from subtly making fun of them if I saw them at Thanksgiving. I'd totally do that. But yeah, I mean, what can you do? You try to teach them best you can to make good decisions.
Exactly.
And hopefully she's doing that.
Yep.
You know, can't do anything else.
Haha, Jackson, guys, I missed SmackDown and just logged on. What's worth watching? Probably the last hour.
Yeah, for sure. The last hour. Yeah.
Dang MQ, hopefully when Jimmy comes back, he gets a different look from Jey.
Yeah. Willie Powerbottom. How do you think people would have reacted if it was the tribal chief Roman Reigns who ended Undertaker's streak?
Oh, man.
We talked about this recently.
Yeah.
That heat right there, if it's this Roman,
off the charts, man. Off the charts.
And the streak would have gone till whenever.
Yeah. Off the charts.
Off the charts.
Probably the most hated man in all of wrestling.
Off the charts. Yeah.
If Tribal Chief Roman had ended the streak and retired the Undertaker, and Undertaker stayed retired, like all the heat.
Yeah.
All the heat.
I agree.
Adrian C., given the booking since the Sheamus match back before the draft, do you think the plans to push Big E are paused or canceled, or is the Intercontinental title all they had in mind for him?
I think
it's hard to tell.
The beginning of it tonight. I mean,
think so.
he had a thing with Sami Zayn. It could very well be, hey, you know, Big E, we're going to put you in the Intercontinental title scene. Probably going to get it, and we'll see what happens from there. I mean, that to me is enough for him to say, I'll believe it when I see it.
Solus. So Rowan in the long term, right now his character is really strong as the tribal chief. Inevitably, someone will not only stand up to him and beat him. Should we see an eventual face turn again by Roman? And what kind of Roman would you want to see on the other side of this? We're still a ways away from that turn. I don't think we're at the point yet where people are enjoying and appreciating his work as heel Roman to such a degree that he's getting over because of it, rather than getting heel heat.
It's inevitable, but it's a ways off. I agree completely. It's a ways off. Moses Supposes, what do you think Natalya's legacy will be like? He says he equates her with Dolph Ziggler. I think that's an excellent comparison.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Favorite customer. It has been a while since a world title has changed hands in a multiple man match. Should either Roman or Drew lose their title in such a match? So should either of them lose the title and say a triple threat bout or elimination chamber?
I mean, I feel like Drew can.
Yeah.
I mean, there's sort of precedent for that.
I think when Roman loses that belt, someone has to pin him.
Yeah, it's got to be his comeuppance. I mean, that has to happen. It's got to be his comeuppance.
Yep.
Now, let me ask you this. Let me expand on that. Is there any way that you can, in a satisfying manner pertaining to his story, do the switch to face while never having lost the title? I kind of feel like losing the title is a big thing, and I think that's like necessary for his story.
I think it's necessary for his story, and it's absolutely necessary for whoever is going to beat him for it.
Blake Whitehouse, what does King Corbin need to do to change up his character kayfabe-wise, and how would he do it?
He's got to lose the king stuff.
He'd lose another King of the Ring tournament and no longer be able to claim it, so he'd lose it, and it would give us another King of the Ring tournament.
Yeah, and hopefully Xavier Woods can win that.
Xavier Woods would win, yeah.
White Brownie 92, with how Shayna was treated when she got called up, could we see Rhea suffer the same fate? I mean, I want to say no.
Shayna's not in a terrible position, man. She's a tag team champion. She's featured pretty heavily.
Well, I think the only issue with Shayna's call-up is that it was stop and start the entire time.
It was really bad timing, too. I really wonder if she was one of the people who was hurt by pandemic with the Becky Lynch thing.
Could be.
That wouldn't shock me at all. Yeah, dude, I don't know. If you remember, Asuka's call-up was really nothing to write home about either.
Nope.
But she's in a pretty darn good spot right now, and she has had a career that anybody would die for. So, you know, they're not going to push them all like Becky or Charlotte.
Dabbing with Dan, tonight as a sandwich. What's a sandwich that was kind of good at the beginning, and then you get about halfway through it, and you're like, I shouldn't have ordered this. And by the end, you were really happy you did.
Does a sandwich like that exist?
I don't know.
But
that's what Smackdown was.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Hamish with the sub says, happy Thanksgiving yesterday for you and your families. Did Gypsy get more leftovers than Jey Uso? Did Jey even get to go inside to get dessert? Oh, he was probably outside a lot of the time. Jey, what are you still doing in here?
This is a good question from Gareth. What type of gimmick match is a Black Friday match? It has to be some sort of championship scramble.
A scramble. It's absolutely a scramble. It's a scramble. Yeah, I mean, basically, it's Money in the Bank. It's the Money in the Bank from this year.
Jeremiah P with the sub. Thank you very much. I'm just trying to do something with the sub. It says 6 months to infinity and beyond. This is a good question from Fear and Loathing. Would you go Black Friday shopping for a teleportation device?
Can it be a time travel device instead? Here's the thing about teleportation. The way it's currently thought of, you're dying and a clone is being made of you every time you teleport. If that wasn't the thing, if your precious bodily fluids were the thing that were turned into energy and then reconstituted, like it'd be in Star Trek, then yeah, I'd do that. I mean, if it was only available at Black Friday and never again.
Yeah. Yeah, the whole idea that you essentially die in the process and are cloned, like there's so many ways that can go so wrong.
Well, yeah, just that alone.
Yeah, that
even
alone.
if it's successful, that's terrible.
It's terrible. If that's the way, if that's the deal with the teleportation device, then no. Joe Juarez, if there were live crowds, would heel Roman be getting cheered right now?
I wish there were crowds. I wish there were crowds.
I don't think he'd be getting cheered yet.
I think you're right. I don't think he would be. But man, I'm really interested to know what crowds like. Okay, what about this? What if they go into Philly? He'd get cheered in Philly. He'd get cheered in Chicago.
Maybe. EV says 1 to 10 chance of London WrestleMania. If they go to day 2, you can watch when you want. What are the chances that we're gonna get a London WrestleMania? Let's say in the next 10 years.
2% botch.
Yeah,
it's WrestleMania. They'd send like a SummerSlam, maybe, but WrestleMania, no. Ethan Smith, why does Heyman have to talk with Pierce when Roman wants Jey to have a match? Any other time wrestlers have a confrontation, they seem to automatically get a match without needing to ask for it. He's justifying his paycheck. You know.
Yeah. Dangam Q, how would you change Jimmy Uso's look when he comes back to distinguish himself from Jey? I'm really interested to see what that dynamic's going to be when Jimmy comes back.
I can't wait for that, and I can't wait to see if at that point I can finally tell them apart, because I suspect that I will be able to. I think that I've been exposed to Jey so much that now I'll be able to see the subtle differences, you know, in facial structure, et cetera, that aren't really noticeable if you only see them together all the time, you know, in one match a week. He's been on TV a lot. There are differences in their faces, and I think I now understand what Jey looks like compared to Jimmy. Plus, maybe they'll do their hair different. That'll really help. Night by Night says, yeah, it's not that hard to tell them apart. Well, for me, it is.
Just look at the tattoo on the shoulder.
No, I don't want to look at the shoulder. What if he's wearing a sleeve, man? What if he has a hoodie on?
I'll tell you, man.
I think I'll be able to tell them. I think I'll be able to tell their faces apart at this point.
All right, we'll have to do a quiz on that when Jimmy comes back.
We'll do it. Gregory Fiala. I didn't like this segment. How did Carmella not see Sasha hand her the drink?
Yeah, I know.
Does she need glasses now? I hate when things are so staged like that. Not a fan.
Yeah, it didn't make a whole lot of sense.
Oh, wow. Okay, hold on. Wolfpack for Life says, crime-solving game recommendation for Steve. There's currently a game series called Unsolved Case Files, where you solve an unsolved crime that happened years ago. It was a fun date night for my girlfriend and I. $25 to $30 at Walmart, Target, etc. It takes 2 to 3 hours. So we had like the, what was it called? Like the Murder Box or something like that. It's like a monthly subscription thing. And it was pretty fun. It was cool. It was neat. But like we just sort of stopped doing it because we don't want to get charged anymore. So like we never did figure out who the killer was.
Oh,
but
dear.
I don't know. Maybe I'll check it out.
White Bryan 92 with TLC coming up and Asuka being undefeated at this pay-per-view. Could we see a proper title defense from her? I certainly hope so.
It'd be nice.
Yeah, it would be
when
very
is it?
nice.
It's 2
December
weeks?
20th.
Oh, there's time. Okay. Let's see here. Big Chris. After it took all the Mysterio family distracting Corbin to win, does this make him more or less hapless than anyone else in SmackDown? No, it doesn't make Corbin hapless.
No.
Because, I mean, he had like a ton of distractions.
Mm-hmm.
He was winning that match. Murphy looked like a chump.
And even Buddy hit him with the knee. Baron got his foot on the rope.
Yeah.
Can't do much when Dom takes it off.
Derek Kaza with a friendo market order. That's all the questions I have on the Patreon.
Dangum Q says, no spoilers, but Trent Seven versus A-Kid on NXT UK was really good. Yeah, I saw who won that Heritage Cup. Is that what they called it?
Yeah, the Heritage Cup, as did I. I gotta watch that match, so I might check it out tonight. All right. Anyways, that's going to do it for us for now. Twitch chat, stick around. We'll answer some more of your questions. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Until next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Help support Going In Raw today by becoming a Friendo Club TV member. You'll get access to new bonus episodes every week, including Friendo Club Arcade, Live Power Rank, Vintage 10 for the Wins, and Ask Steven Larson. Get access to Friendo Club TV today by becoming a $5 and up patron at patreon.com/Steven Larson, by throwing us a sub at twitch.tv/Steven Larson, or by clicking join at youtube.com/Steven Larson.